Hola YouTube, Jeremy Wright here today, and I'm going to show you something that's rather common before I show you something a little less common. So this is red root floater. Okay, it's pretty red root floater. It's healthy, it's growing well, but that's about it, right? It's just what red root floater does. Until it does something more spectacular. Pause. And unpause. Now, we're looking at red root floater in a different tank and it's flowering. So I'm about to zoom in and show you this. These are some pretty little flowers and I have not often had the pleasure of witnessing this. So I thought I would share with you. This is the first time I've seen it flowering in this particular tank. And this is it's a nano tank. I think this is a 3.5 gallon cube. It's actually not a cube. It's just a 3.5 gallon rimless. But it's growing under an Aqueon clip-on, and so cute. So let's take a look at what it looks like just under the water line. We're gonna get a transition here. We can see very clearly why this plant gets its namesake from this. And now we're gonna go back and check out these little flowers again. So in looking at them, I do believe they have 6 petals each, and clearly this is an angiosperm. It is a flowering reproductive plant, so in theory I should be able to pollinate or assist in pollinating by using like a little paintbrush or something and just dabbing between the different flowers and seeing what happens if I can actually try to get these to form seeds. I have never particularly seen that process from this plant, but I think it's going to be kind of interesting. And well, heck, you know what? Let's just do it. Pausing again. Okay, so as stated, just grabbed a paintbrush. This is a tiny, tiny little paintbrush. But I'm going to try and get just a little bit of pollen from the different flowers and move them around. I have no idea if this is going to be successful or not, but I can see that there are not any pollinating insects hanging out on the top of this tank. I don't actually know what triggers this plant to flower. It may be light cycles, it may be temperature, it may be something else. I don't know what triggers them, but now that we've done that, I'm gonna pause again, look that up, and then report back to you. Hang on just a sec. Okay, back from a brief respite and study session. What I did was I asked Google Bard AI, which is found at bard.google.com. Really useful, especially if you like researching. I asked it, what triggers Phyllanthus fluitans to flower? And essentially I was given an answer that's like, science doesn't really know what causes this particular angiosperm to flower, but we have some pieces of insight which include age and maturity. So the plant has to be old enough. Now in this case, it doesn't take Phyllanthus fluitans, aka red root floater, very long to mature. It just doesn't. I would say weeks are probably fine. Furthermore, it's only been in this tank for a few weeks. Nutrient availability. While Phyllanthus fluitans doesn't need heavy fertilization, having sufficient levels of essential nutrients, particularly potassium and phosphorus, might encourage flowering. However, overfeeding doesn't help. Light intensity and duration. Many plants triggered by specific light cycles, including Phyllanthus fluitans. This is kind of a non-answer. They're saying it seems that giving a moderate to high light intensity of at least 8 to 10 hours per day might stimulate blooming. However, excessive light can harm the plant. So we don't really learn anything from that. Water temperature. Some suggest that slightly cooler temperatures, maybe in the 72 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit range, might encourage flowering. So let's check. I actually pulled the thermometer out. So yeah, I've got an old school style thermometer, and it looks like, bang, it looks like it's probably like 73 degrees. There may be something to that. What you think, guys? That seems like it's a little more probable than, or at least we're gaining more information from that than we did previous bits. However, it goes on to say that this is mostly anecdotal and requires further research. Stress and disruption, the next point on the report. While stress seems counterintuitive, some aquarists report observing flowers after a slight disruption to the usual environment, such as a small water change or temporary reduction in lighting. So it's possible that this mimics some natural seasonal changes that the plants might enter into. Genetic variation, we're going to skip that because that basically doesn't say anything. However, there's a point in bold. Overall, while specific triggers remain elusive, providing Phyllanthus fluitans with stable, optimal conditions in terms of light, nutrients, and temperature may increase the chances of flowering. However, patience is key, as blooms might not appear, even with ideal care. So basically what we've learned from this is science don't know. And science would like to know, but science don't know. So, kind of as I said at the beginning of this video, this is something kind of elusive. I have not seen this before, and I'm going to be tracking it and watching it. If you have specific knowledge of this, if you have seen this occur in or on top of your tanks, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to discuss this. I think we should discuss this and keep it scientific. If you really don't know, it's okay not to comment. If you just want to say something, cool. I'll be happy to talk to you. Otherwise, thanks for watching this little bit on red root floater, aka Latin Phyllanthus fluitans. So, for the most part, this is one of the favored floating plants in the hobby. And as you can see, it does fine even with the hang-on back filter. But this is a small hang-on back. Let me show you. This is less than a hand's width. I think that one was rated for like a 5 to 10, or a nano tank, right? Nano tank. Also, that is begonia, angel wing or dragon wing begonia growing up, which some people also call it cane begonia, growing up from that. And, oh, this is, what do we call that? I'm losing the Latin name. Mexican petunia, cool plant, growing up, and it definitely flowers in here. This is flowering also. And so maybe this tank thinks it's springtime. Here in my home, it recently got kind of cold. So I've been raising the air temperature, and I'm under the impression that maybe the water temp just dropped a little bit. Just a little bit. This tank does have a heater, I do believe. Yeah, it does. And yeah, sorry, there are some jars in front of it. This is the place where I set my jars of tap water such that they can gas off and then release chloride, release chlorine, and then I can pour them into my small containers like this stuff around here. So some of these have been, or they've all been out for a while. So I grab one of these and then just pour it off into other containers. Boom, that's what those are for. But make some gnarly reflections. Otherwise, did we learn anything? Or did we just see some tiny pretty flowers? I don't know. Maybe we learned something about the temperature. I'm not really sure, but I'll report back on this, and then moving into the future, I'll try to share anything that I learned. Beyond that, I hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. Happy aquatics. Happy gardening. Catch you soon.